All right, welcome back here on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. Glad you could join us. And Joby Houghtaling is here to talk fishing with the Pecos Valley Bassmasters. Hello.
Hello. Fishing.
Fishing. And what about all this rain that we have had in New Mexico? People are talking about they don't remember it being this green in a long time.
I don't. I don't remember being this green, and I heard you earlier talking about it. Everywhere I've gone, all over the state in the last couple of weeks, which I say all over the state, I've been as far north as Conscious Lake. Boy, it's really green up that direction and down here too. So yeah, I haven't seen it that pretty and green in I don't know when.
Yeah, we drove through Lincoln and Carrizozo and up to Albuquerque, and I saw the greatest sign ever on a business.
What did it say?
Let me pull it up here because we didn't see it in time to take a picture of it. But we made note of what it said, and it said, cancel MLG.
Okay.
Cancel Biden.
Okay.
Restore America.
There you go.
And I thought, I love it.
Pretty good sign. I agree with it. If we're going to have a cancel culture, let's cancel those.
Let's cancel those folks there. But,
there you go.
All that. So you have there is a tournament, though. The Pecos Valley Bassmasters has a tournament this weekend.
We do have a tournament, and I'm not sure. I haven't done any research on Fort Phantom Hill. We're going to be at Lake Fort Phantom Hill this Saturday and Sunday, the Pecos Valley Bassmasters. And when I say I haven't done any research, what I mean by that is the rain. Mm-hmm. West Texas has also been getting a lot of rain, and I guess Abilene is considered West Texas. I'm not sure. It may be more central, but Fort Phantom Hill is just north of Abilene, about 10 miles, and the Brazos River, I think, feeds that one. And boy, we were talking this weekend, me and my brothers and my dad, about the Brazos River. That feeds a lot of Texas lakes. That thing is, I've never tried to follow it, but I know that it goes to a lot of lakes that we fish. And anyway, they've gotten a lot of rain over there too. And so the last tournament we had was at Stamford Lake, which is up north of Phantom Hill, almost due north, so east of us here in Artesia. But it was flooded pretty heavily and was running over the spillway there, and they probably were releasing some off of the dam. But I don't know where it's at now in terms of the Brazos and specifically where we're going to be this weekend at Lake Fort Phantom Hill. But that does change things a little bit. I mean, we saw that with the New Mexico Bass Nation up at Conscious last weekend or 2 weekends ago, whenever it was. That lake is really, really low, but due to the weather, the rains that we've experienced, up north they've been getting it as well, north of here, and the lake had risen that week about 2 feet. And I think we talked a little bit about that last week, Gene. What do you got there?
They've got the current lake level. I don't know how recent this is, but this is on their website.
Is this at Fort Phantom Hill?
Yes.
And what does it say?
It says current lake level, conservation pool elevation. Okay, so I guess I click on that. That's probably a link. What do you think?
Looks like it.
All right, so when you click on it, and there's your lake level chart right there.
So does that mean it's flood level, flood pool? That looks like it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely flooded, which is what I expected, because of all the water, all the rain. And what I was going to say is I think we experienced that at Conscious when the lake rose 2 feet, in a matter of a few days up at Conscious. And so that changes up the balance of the fish. It changes up the balance of the lake. And so I don't know if that's what we'll experience. And so it was a tough bite, I guess, or at least for the keeper fish at Conscious. I don't know if that's what we'll experience at Fort Phantom Hill. Our experience so far, I think we fished 3, maybe 4 tournaments there over the last couple of years, has been very positive. It's not a real big body of water, but it's a decent sized, and it's got a lot of great fishing. And we've had some really good tournaments there. We had one this year. I think we fished one this year that wasn't quite as good as years past, and again I think it was due to water levels and whatnot, and it was pretty strong wind those couple of days, but if I'm thinking right, but we're going to be back at Fort Phantom Hill. It's about 10 miles north of Abilene. I put a post out on Facebook today. Just anybody that follows us on Facebook or is listening or watching here on the radio, you can go to our Facebook page at Pecos Valley Bassmasters, or you can go to our website at pvbm.club. Either place, if you go to our Facebook page, there's a post. You can click on it, and you're going to go right to the Join tab on our website. Or, again, you can go to the website and join our club and get to fishing with us. We still have 3 tournaments plus the championship this year. And so this month, of course, and then in August and September. And then we'll be wrapping up the season in October. And so if you think, well, it's too late, I would say it's not. I mean, we were down some this year because of last year with COVID and again experiencing that into this year in terms of our numbers. And so, our goal is always to take 10 boaters and 10 non-boaters to our championship. So right now we don't have that many qualified. And so it's not too late to join the club and fish these last 3 tournaments with us, and then you'd probably, more than likely, be eligible to fish or be in the top 10 as a boater or a non-boater and fish with us in the championship. So in any case, this weekend, Fort Phantom Hill. Next month, we're going to go back to Hubbard Creek, I think. And I don't have the schedule in front of me, but we got another tournament in September, and then our championship will be determined later. Probably the end of September, we'll decide where we're going to fish our championship in October.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would think that the water would be good for a lot of these lakes and raising the levels.
Yeah, because a lot of the lakes were kind of like our lakes. They were low. Of course, last year Texas got some flooding that we didn't get as much here in New Mexico. This year we've gotten it. A great example is Brantley Lake is full. As full as I can remember it. I think it's full. So... And it was down almost to a river not very long ago.
That's right.
Just down to the Pecos River. So when these rain waters come in, and we got a good rain yesterday. I have no idea. I didn't listen this morning and see how much we got, but it was
good. Over
good.
the weekend, 1.3 inches.
So another great weekend of rain here in the Pecos Valley and here in Artesia specifically. And so all that rain, as it comes down these arroyos and creeks and it runs right into the Pecos River. And so that runs, of course, into Brantley and then on down the river. But I saw a post, I think it was on Facebook where I saw this. I think it was there. I guess Elephant Butte rose suddenly. Elephant Butte's been really, really low. Another one of our fisheries here in New Mexico that we haven't fished Elephant Butte as a club in 2 or 3 years, but it's been really low, like 90% low for a number of years. And I saw a post, I believe on Facebook, social media of some sort, where the water levels just rose like overnight. There was all these pickups and cars and campers, and I guess it came overnight, literally, and they were in the water, and they're trying to get them out.
Yeah, well, you got to pay attention to the local officials.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I guess it just did what it did here. Enough rain had run down and got into the Rio Grande from all over the state, and the water that runs that way into the Rio Grande and flooded Elephant Butte.
It's funny because every time I drive across the Rio Grande, it looks like it's half empty.
Right.
But the water is coming down from somewhere, and it's getting into these rivers from somewhere. I mean, there's been all that flooding in the Belen area. There was all that in that part of the state. But eventually it's going to wind up at Elephant Butte, just like over on this side of the state it winds up
in Brantley and then down in
Brantley.
Carlsbad.
Yeah, so that's...
And both of those rivers actually run into Amstead, which is another lake we fish. Well, Pecos River runs into the Rio Grande, and then it feeds into Amstead.
Yeah, so eventually that's going to get down there and help that lake after we've got done taking out what we need.
I'm hoping we get to keep some in our lakes.
That's right.
Instead of draining them again.
Yeah, no, it is amazing just to see a little bit of rainfall through the mountains and the desert parts of New Mexico, and how that changes just how the landscape looks with a little bit of vegetation and stuff like that. So
right.
It's very good. So if folks want to sign up for this weekend's tournament or any of the others that are going on the rest of the year, go to the website, go to the and I brought the Facebook page up here, and you've got the link right on there to click on.
Yep.
To say join in the website. So
and one thing that we do this late in the season, two things. Number one, if you just want to fish as a guest, you can do that. You just have to fish with a member.
Okay.
And then you don't have any dues or anything like that. And this late in the season, we're not charging the full dues for somebody to join anyway. And so if the dues, all the dues that you would owe would be $20 to join our club.
For the balance of this
For the balance
season.
of the year. Normally
Okay.
it's 40, and normally we charge for New Mexico Bass Nation and BASS, but we're not going to do that for the balance of this season because there's nothing left for New Mexico Bass Nation, and there's nothing left. Now, I mean, there is stuff for BASS, I guess, around the country, but nothing locally that would cause you to be. And if you wanted to pay the dues, of course, I'll take them and get them on to BASS. But as a club, we're not going to collect any more dues for the balance of this season. And we do allow guests to fish one time without paying any club dues. Plus, because of the only 3 tournaments left plus championship, I'm only charging half of the dues. So it would be inexpensive for you to join. I know there's several folks that have talked about joining that we have visited with. And so if you're one of those and you want to join, you obviously can. And so invoices were sent out this morning to all of our members that for this coming weekend's tournament. And so if you're one of those members, you want to get that paid by noon on Thursday. If you want to fish and you're not a member, so you didn't get an invoice, obviously, just go and click on that join and get that enrollment form turned in, and that way I can get you an invoice and you can get to fishing.
There you go. Let's just make sure. I bet it works. Look at this. It's pulling up something. It's pulling up something here. Come on,
Did you
Internet.
click on the
I clicked on the join.
join now?
On the join button tab. So, see, I do this all the time. I do this live, and then either it does work or it doesn't work. There it goes. There it goes. All right.
So on our site there, if you scroll down, you're going to see there's a PDF, and that's where they would just click on that PDF, and it should be fillable. You can fill it out and then email it in, and then I'll get it, and then I'll reach out to you because it'll have your information on it. You can see there it's just a simple one-page enrollment form, and I think it still says 2020 on it, or may even say 2019. I haven't
it
updated
says
it.
2020 club dues.
Yeah, so, but
it does say enrollment form 2020.
yeah, I didn't update it this year, but it's the same.
It'll still work, right?
It's the same one. I just didn't put 2021.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can click on that, fill it out, email it back to us, and then I'll be reaching out to you shortly thereafter and letting you know everything, and plus, get you the invoice for this weekend's tournament.
That's great. Well, what else is on your mind that you want to talk about today? Anything else?
I don't guess so. No, I was going to say something about New Mexico Bass Nation. Our season is wrapped up. The teams have been announced. We talked about that last week. I unfortunately didn't make the team. There's still an outside chance I could if there's some of the non-boaters that can't go, because I'm right there on the cusp.
Right.
I think I'm in 12th, was in 12th position. So, and there was a couple of guys tied for 11th, so really I'm in 13th. But there's still a chance for me to be able to go. But just another congratulations out to all those that made the team. Conscious Lake fished really tough, as we've talked about, but they're those top guys that caught fish. Some of them caught some really nice ones, but only 1 or 2. I mean, it was just such a weird, strange tournament to me. But
they're there. I mean, the fish are there.
There's some fish there, just very difficult to get the keepers to bite. I think everybody that fished caught a lot of fish. They were just all short fish, and we've talked about that several times, Gene. The 14 inch is a normal standard minimum federally. Some lakes require bigger, more inches, but for a black bass or a largemouth or a smallmouth bass, 14 inches is pretty standard, and that's what it is there. A few years ago, at Conscious and Ute, the size for smallmouth was 12 inches. And so there would have been limits weighed. They'd have been really, really small limits in terms of weight, because the 12 inchers don't weigh much. A lot of them weigh less than a pound, but there would have been easily caught 5 of those. But the 14 inches is 2 or 3, 4, 5 years ago. I don't remember when the state changed it, but they went up to 14 inches on smallmouth as well. And so just made it more difficult for that lake anyway.
Don't know if I've ever asked this before. How long does a bass fish normally live?
I don't know that I know that answer, so I'm not even gonna, I could speculate. I think they live, well, I don't know. I was going to say 10 years or so, but I really don't know.
Yeah, because there's all kinds of predators.
Well, bass there are, but both smallmouth and largemouth, a lot of times in the fisheries that they're in, the lakes they're in, they are the predator.
Ah, okay.
Now, they eat each other too.
Okay.
But they are one of the main predators in lakes. Obviously, in some lakes, there's some other fish that are more of a predator than they, but they're the dominant predator a lot of times.
I see.
Largemouth, their jaw opens really big. They can eat fish almost the same size as them, which is crazy.
Yeah.
To think, but their jaw opens are up really big. The smallmouth, not the same in terms of the way the jaw's made. It's one of the differences, obviously, in the two strains of bass, but they're both very, very, very predatory fish,
Mm-hmm.
and they're carnivores. I mean, they go crazy on other fish.
Yeah.
So,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And so I guess their biggest predator threat to them is
Is us.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're the next level up,
Yeah, we're the predator. We're the top of the chain.
We're the top of the well, as it should
Worldwide. I mean, of all animals, we're the top.
We should be. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
There's not. Look, folks. There's not a King Kong out there. There's not a Godzilla
And even if there
out
was,
there.
we have things called guns.
Have you seen the movies,
we have
Joby?
yes, but those movies are. We have tanks. We have nukes. Man, we're the top.
Have you not seen the movies?
I have seen them. Probably not as many as you, but I've seen them.
Well, I've seen a couple of them. I mean, I watched. There was 2 Godzilla movies that came out here over the last few years, and they sure tore up San Francisco and Boston. It was pretty
know.
messed up. And
I
then
know. We didn't want to nuke them because then we'd kill everybody.
that's true. That's true. And then, of course, I guess there was a movie that came out, King Kong versus Godzilla, and I never saw that one.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah. But I'm thinking more stuff got tore up in that one, too.
I'm thinking you're probably right. Major cities were toppled.
All right. So those aren't out there, folks. We are.
Those don't even exist.
Yeah.
And even if they did, we're still the top of the chain.
Sorry. Well, Joby, thank you so much. Folks, go to pvbm.club.
Yeah.
Learn more information. Fill out the form if you want to sign up or inquire about this weekend's tournament in Fort Phantom Hill.
Yep.
And
or anything to do with fishing. You can always reach out to us. And I'm certainly not the end of knowing everything, but we got a lot of guys that do know a lot of stuff.
That's right.
So if you have any questions about bass fishing, we've got some men and women that are excellent bass fishermen that way better than me, and they'll know all about it.
excellent. Joby, thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
Appreciate it. And have some kith and kin breakfast there before
I'm going
you
to
leave.
take one with me.
Yeah, Betty took one, and I'm hoping a couple more get taken because otherwise I got to eat them all, and I don't need to. So I just need a half. Kith and kin